The Vikings are going to take down the Broncos on Saturday, and we're going to take down Broncos Breakdown here on YouTube. For those of you that do not know, I'm a competitive person. I love to win, but I hate losing even more than I like winning. And guess what? Vikings Now is down to our Broncos Breakdown channel here on YouTube, and I want to change that. So if you love the Vikings, let's say a big old you-know-what to the Broncos, hit that sub button because I promise you, we're going to be bringing that fire. You're watching Vikings Now. Mitchell Renz here from Chat Sports. And coming up on today's show, we're going to be looking at 5 Viking surprise cut candidates. A friendly reminder that all NFL teams, you got to get down to a 53-man roster by August 30th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. So what I figured I would do here is this, give you 5 names that, when they get cut, probably the light bulb goes off. You're like, oh, yeah, I heard about that. So let's first go to number 1 here, and I don't have these ranked in any particular order. CJ Ham, the fullback. And I've been a big fan of Ham on Thanksgiving especially. But when you talk about this new offense that Kevin O'Connell is going to install, that's really the simplest reason why I can sit up here and say he's probably not going to make the roster. On top of that, I am genuinely curious on how many running backs / fullbacks ultimately make the 53-man. But what it really, truly comes down to, and you're starting to see a lot of new NFL offenses go this way, it simply is, are they going to use the fullback? Because when I look at this roster right now, I see 4, 5 running back / fullback roster spots open. Does that mean Ham is going to make it? I don't really think so. Does that mean Ham's a bad player? No. It just simply is not quite the right fit. Because if O'Connell's not going to use the fullback, don't really understand why you're going to use him. In 2021, underneath Boomer Mike Zimmer, 39% of all the Vikings plays included a fullback. Already this preseason, and I get it, it's the preseason and you don't always see teams giving away their entire playbook. But I do think that this is a pretty eye-popping stat. 9% of plays so far have required a fullback. Are you going to keep one if you're doing it less than 10%? I don't think so, man. So it's Y for yes, it's N for no. You let me know right now down in the comments section of this video. If you're a diehard Vikings fan, if you talk to your friends, family members about this team, ask them this question. Do you think CJ Ham will make the roster? Y for yes, or I want you to type N for no. Let's go to the next player up here on my surprise cut candidates list. Kellen Mond, man. I'll tell you what, if there's a day where I become a multi-millionaire, I'm going to make a roller coaster, and I'm going to put it in Minneapolis, and it's just because of the ups and downs that Kellen Mond has already had, and his short career in Minnesota is pretty intriguing to me. But the biggest reason is you always have to, and I say tea leaves, watch what NFL teams do. It tells you everything you need to know. Money talks, but so do trades. And the fact that the Minnesota Vikings made a deal with the Las Vegas Raiders, and I get it. It's only a conditional pick, but the Raiders get that conditional pick if Mullins is just active for one game. With the fact that Kellen Mond is coming off a terrible game where he threw 2 interceptions, and don't get me wrong, the legs are there. He shows good spurts of being an athletic quarterback. But if I sat up here and said all those things that I did about CJ Ham, I have to say the exact same things about Kellen Mond. The fit just simply doesn't make sense. If Mond wanted to go to Baltimore on a run-heavy team, go, send him, keep it going. But it's going to be Mannion versus Mond for quarterback 3. I think Nick Mullins is actually a lot more talented than what people give him credit for. He's going to have those up and down games as well. But Nick Mullins, guess where he was last year? In Cleveland. Yeah, you see the connections there with Kwesi. So let's go to number 3 now. Alexander Mattison, the running back. And this one pains me because there's going to be some good teams out there that if Mattison doesn't make this team, he's going to go somewhere else and he's going to have a nice home for himself because he's a good back. But he's not the best at catching the football. Ty Chandler, Kene, they're just overall better fits with this offense. And Dalvin's going to be the number one running back in this system. Now, if you guys want to bet on the Vikings, you want to bet on NFL games, NBA, MLB, I don't care what it is. If you just love to throw some money down because you're a competitive dude, hey, I'm absolutely with you. The number one place to do that is at BetUS. Now, to take advantage of the best deal on the internet, you got to go to chatsports.com/bet. You got to use promo code chat125 to get a 125% deposit bonus. If you put down $100, you're actually going to get $125 for free to bet with. You want to know a really freaking awesome bet that you should do right now? And call me crazy. I'm a crazy SOB, I know. But right now, Justin Jefferson's MVP odds, if you put down $10 on BetUS, you win $1,250. You want to be a big baller? Put down $100. You're going to win $12,500 on Jefferson. Some of you are like, Mitch, it's crazy. It's never going to happen. Hear me out. After all the shit that the NFL got after the season that Cooper Kupp just had, what happens if Jefferson puts up better numbers? Does anybody think that Jefferson can get to 2,000 yards? Year 3, the breakout year? All I'm saying is, man, I've spent $10 on dumber shit that I could not have gotten over $1,000. It's an interesting deal, and since you're getting that $125 for free to bet with, what's the worst thing you could lose? I don't know. $1,200, $500? Yeah, check, please. All right, let's keep on talking about Alexander Mattison. Nwangwu and then Chandler, they just look great in the preseason. I know that Chandler was going to be a really feisty back. I will say Nwangwu has really personally impressed me. I've watched a lot of Raiders games. That's the team that I cover a lot of the times here at Chat Sports. And I watched both of these backs here, especially Nwangwu, absolutely dissect the silver and black. I mean, that game, they went for 5.7 yards per carry. I continue to sit up here and say, if you can have somebody who can just come in for Dalvin, give him a breather, but also be a good pass blocker, you can come in that 2-minute drill. All of those things are extremely important in O'Connell's system, and Mattison just simply doesn't do it. So, better scheme fits. When you bring in a new head coach, when you hire a new general manager, when you get new OCs, DCs, you get all these new pieces around a new team. Scheme fits change, players change. It's just something that simply happens. Now, can we hit 6,000 subscribers by week 1? It's a lofty goal, but I wouldn't do it if I didn't believe in you. I don't ever come to work. I don't ever show up to sit here and just talk about a bunch of BS. No, that's not what I do. I want you to hit that subscribe button. I want you to challenge yourself, but challenge your friends. And if you are already subscribed, type skull down below. We would appreciate it. It's free videos after all. Let's go to number 4 here, B.C. Johnson. And yes, a lot of offensive players on our surprise cut candidates list, but that's because this is a good offense. It's stacked. And a lot of times when you move on from players that you've had in the past, you should look at it as, man, like you shouldn't look at it as, oh, dang it, like that guy's leaving. You should look at it as that you were making improvements during the offseason. And this is a wide receiver room that I could argue is potentially maybe the deepest in the league from top to bottom. You got a true number 1 in Justin Jefferson. You got an absolute red zone monster in Adam Thielen. I love me some KJ Osborne. He's a hell of a wide receiver 3. Amir Smith-Marset, I will sit up on a table if I have to, stand on a hill and say that young man is going to be a talented wide receiver. Personally, I think he has the upside of what Laquan Treadwell was supposed to be, personally. Then you got BC. Naylor's an interesting name, but it does sound like Jasenia is going to make this roster. And that's not just coming from me. That's coming from the coaches because he's a good special teams player. And apparently, this is quote, he's a special teams demon. I don't know if they're going to change his number to 666, but special teams is a very important thing. I am a true believer that NFL teams that make it to the Super Bowl caliber teams are good on offense, good on defense, and good on special teams. And if Chisenia is a really, really solid gunner going down the field on punt returns, kick returners, and you believe that he can set you up in prime time field position, that's going to be interesting. But if they take only 6, B.C. Johnson could be in trouble, man. Let's go to the final name here on my surprise cut candidates list. Remember, you are watching Vikings Now, and if anybody wants to bet on the Vikings this season, it's chatsports.com/bet, promo code chat125. The cornerbacks, a lot of question marks here, right? You know, you got Patrick Peterson. He's going to be your number 1. I like Cameron Dantzler, but for whatever reason, there's always been a lot of trade rumors around him. Andrew Booth coming out of college I was excited about. He's had already a lot of injury concerns. Personally, I have not been all too inspired by his preseason performances thus far. But in terms of Boyd, he hasn't been good for the past few years. Yeah, he's a good locker room guy, which that's important. You need to have glue guys. And even though sometimes you might not be as excellent on the field, keeping around some of those dudes who just boost up morale, it can go a long way. However, new team, new regime, I'm not going to bet on just locker room guys. I'm going to bet on talent overall. Now, before I wrap up today's show, if you thought you were only going to get 5 surprise cut candidates, surprise, JC Tretter not signing with the Vikings. And some people are like, especially me, when I was doing a lot of my shows that I do here at Chat Sports, when people would ask me, all right, what are the top teams that you think JC could go to? One of the teams I always threw out there was Minnesota. Why? Yeah, center situation, not great, right? So Kevin Seifert from ESPN said, laugh out loud, Tretter told SI that he targeted the Vikings as a possible 2022 destination because he grew up rooting for them. But Minnesota never returned our call. If the Vikings ever had a plan B in mind at center behind Garrett Bradbury, it wasn't Tretter. Very surprising. One, I'm surprised that it didn't go down, and I'm also wondering if Tretter, the whole situation with him in the NFL, maybe that had something to go with it. But at the end of the day, man, I trust Kwesi. I don't say this about a lot of people. I know for a fact Kwesi's a lot smarter than me, and he's always done the right things. But it's not only just that. When coaches or GMs, when they've worked with players in the past, I think they know a lot of things. And maybe Kwesi knows something that I don't, which is maybe he knows Tretter's knee isn't 100% healthy, and that's the reason why he ultimately had to retire. Am I shocked? Yeah, because there is that part that I'm like, even a 70% JC Tretter could make the argument might be better than a Garrett Bradbury, right? And if I want to put my chips all in on the table, Tretter could be that guy to do it. But again, I'll trust Kwesi overall. Now, if you made it this far in the video, shout out to all y'all. Y'all are real ones out there. Hopefully you're cheering on the Vikings on Saturday. We're going to have a post-game reaction show for y'all. But if you made it this far, spam real one down in the comments.